Thank you, Dan. Good evening, everybody. At the start of what Fulham fans hope will be their coronation night, the start of a huge 48 hours in the Sky Bet Championship. Tomorrow, Bournemouth can confirm their Premier League return with victory at home to Nottingham Forest, live here on TalkSport 2. A Forest win would leave Steve Cooper's side in pole position to end their 23-year exile from the top flight. But as the two sets of players emerge from the tunnel away to our left, no such pressure for Fulham, who already know they'll be competing back amongst the big boys again next season. Tonight, it is all about trying to steal the title in front of a fervent home crowd. A win guarantees they get their hands on that trophy. A draw will just about do it, given their huge goal difference advantage. The need for victory is arguably even greater for Luton, who less than a decade ago were plying their trade in non-league. They now need only 2 points from their final 2 matches to land a playoff place and the chance of a fairy tale rise from near oblivion to the promised land, a trip to Anfield, Old Trafford, Stamford Bridge and the Etihad. Sam Parkin, that was some atmosphere, some noise as the two teams came out from the dressing rooms.
Yeah, and that's why, yes, it's massive for Luton Town to cement this wonderful season they've had and try and secure themselves in the playoffs. But what an evening for these Fulham players as well, and the supporters who have come out. Big numbers. They want to have a party. They want that trophy to be lifted tonight. They don't want it to go down to tomorrow night, what happens down in Bournemouth. So, yeah, this has got all the makings of what should be a really entertaining game tonight, where both teams, I would suggest, will probably go for it.
The wonderful setting down by the banks of the Thames on a warm bank holiday Monday evening. Of course, at the moment, Craven Cottage is effectively a 3-sided stadium, as that huge riverside stand engulfing us over on the far side continues to develop at rapid speed. But there isn't an empty seat that they could have sold in the house. Everybody in the home section has been given a clacker and a flag, black and white, with a Fulham emblem proudly bestowed upon it. EFL Championship 2021/22. It reads. They've stopped just short, Sam Parkin, of saying champions 2021/22, but that's the target tonight.
It is, yeah, probably quite wise. That could have come back to haunt them, couldn't it? But yeah, we know a point, and they're there. The goal difference is such, but they'll want to put on a resounding display. The season almost deserves it. I've been sat here so often and watched Fulham absolutely smash teams, put on some outstanding displays here against Birmingham, away at Blackburn, away at Reading. They've absolutely cantered to promotion. They'll want to put a seal on it by getting 3 or 4 today. Do I see it happening? I see there being goals, but I see Luton putting up a real strong result.
Well, they've already smashed plenty of records en route to promotion back to the Premier League. Fulham more could tumble tonight. 99 championship goals to their name, many of them scored, of course, by their main man, Alexander Mitrovic. No team in the second tier have reached a century since Manchester City way back in 2002. Mitrovic himself just 2 goals away from setting a new record, eclipsing Guy Whittingham's long-standing total of 42 goals in a second-tier season. On the referee's first whistle, the Fulham players take a knee. The Luton Town players lined up in a huddle on the edge of the centre circle, both teams showing their own message against racial prejudice. But we are just about off and running at the end of another fabulous day of EFL action here across the TalkSport network. And well, this is the biggest game of all. Fulham and their supporters want a title-winning party. Luton, for their own aspirations of the most unlikely promotion, want to play the role of party poopers. We are off and running. Sam Parkin alongside me, Alex Crook. Fulham in their white jerseys, black shorts and white socks, shooting from right to left in this first half. Luton in their chain strip, black shirts, white shorts and black socks, attacking the goal away to our right. I'll run you through the 2 lineups for Fulham. Rodak is the goalkeeper. Tete, Tossin, Ream and Robinson are back 4. Reed and Kearney in front of them. Carvalho, Wilson and Decordova Reed in behind top scorer Mitrovic up front. Sam Parkin, you were eagle-eyed in the warm-up. You spotted that Dan Potts, who was due to start the game on the bench, was going through his paces with the rest of the starting 11, and it looks like a late change. It's Alan Campbell, is it, who seems to have picked up an issue, and Potts is in, so a blow for Luton before a ball has even been kicked. Potts in for starting lineup, no Campbell.
That is a blow, Alex, because his energy, he just is absolutely an abundance of running around, tackling, making challenges, breaking up play. They'll miss that tonight, and now Naismith, he shifted into midfield, so he's going to be alongside Lansbury. That gives them obviously good control, passing ability, but there's not really the legs. The midfield trio now, Lansbury, Naismith, Snodgrass. That's not the way Nathan Jones would have wanted to come to Fulham. He'd have needed that energy, and when you've got Ruddock and Panzo missing as well, Campbell missing, Clark missing, Berry missing, all guys that can get around the pitch, they can supply ammunition as well, but their main job, those guys, is to cover the ground, not available.
Not to mention no Sonny Bradley, top scorer Elijah Adebayo, as the cross comes into the Luton penalty area, and the goalkeeper Ingram half cleared it away, and he looked a really clumsy challenge from Naismith. Fulham baying for a penalty. It was Carvalho who went down. The referee Tim Robinson unmoved. We'll see a replay in a moment, Sam Parkin, but my initial reaction, and that of the Fulham players and the Fulham fans behind the goal, is that may well have been a penalty.
Yeah, sometimes you've got to look at the player's reaction. I think Carvalho possibly just leaves his foot in there. He knows that he's committed himself, Naismith.
It's a rash tackle.
Yeah, it has to be a penalty. I'm sorry, I think he's committed himself. He's made a poor decision because of the atmosphere, because of the early tempo of this game, and Naismith's reaction told the story there.
No penalty given. In the end, Fulham have to settle for a corner. It's been a really bright start from the host. Wilson floats it in, almost went for goal, knocked back across the 6-yard box by Carvalho. I don't know if he was going for goal there. Carvalho was off the pitch, and so was the ball when he tried to put it back into the danger zone. But was Wilson trying to spot Ingram off his line?
Well, it was close, wasn't it? Just bent to evade that far post. Carvalho did well to almost keep it in, but an early let-off for Luton, that's for sure. Naismith, he should not have committed himself to the challenge. It was a desperate lunge, maybe anticipating Carvalho getting a strike away, opted to take the touch, and I think that's a penalty.
It's already been a bit of a baptism of fire for Matt Ingram, signed on an emergency loan. The goalkeeper from Hull City yesterday has played 29 appearances for his parent club this season, straight into the 11 against the most prolific side in the division. He's got Burke, Lockyer and now Potts in front of him, Onyedimna and Bell are the wing backs, with Lansbury, Naismith and Snodgrass in midfield, and then Cameron Jerome and the bold-headed Danny Hilton up front. Throw in here for Luton down the right hand side, taken by Onyedimna back after injury. Here's Naismith outside the penalty area, looking to get a shot away, does so, and it forces an awkward save from Marek Rodak, the Fulham goalkeeper, down to his left, because that came through a very crowded 18-yard box. Luton have their first corner, 5 minutes gone. Frantic start here at Craven Cottage. It's Fulham 0, Luton 0.
Yeah, just an example of the confidence Naismith's been playing with this season. The body swerve on Harrison Reed there was absolutely beautiful. Changed position late in the day, but he's got an abundance of ability.
Of course, they're wearing the captain's armband tonight. Naismith, former Portsmouth and Wigan Athletic player. Corner to be played in by Snodgrass, and headed behind by Dan Potts, who had a free run at that. And I think he's disappointed, Sam, but he's not worked the goalkeeper.
Yeah, the main thing that Robert Snodgrass has added to this Luton side, I think he's supplied deliveries for a couple of goals since he's come to the club. There's no one better, really, especially with those in-swingers, and that was half a chance of Potts. Looks like he maybe got slightly in front of the ball, therefore had to kind of twist his neck to divert it towards the target, but couldn't quite do so.
Here's Kearney, hoping to lift that championship trophy later on. The long-standing Fulham captain. Ream, meanwhile, has been penalised for shoving the back on Hilton on halfway. Luton want to take the free kick quickly. Harrison Reed has stopped Lansbury from doing that, and quickly retreats from the scene before Tim Robinson can brandish the yellow card. It's been quite some start, hasn't it, Sam Parkin?
Yeah, it's been fast, hasn't it? I think Luton just settling down now after that early scare. Couple of crosses into their area. Ingram obviously dealt with one reasonably well. Then there was the penalty shout, and that corner from Harry Wilson causing a few problems, but they'll be pleased to have had half a chance themselves.
Just a reminder of the two commentaries we've already brought you this afternoon here on TalkSport 2. Your home of the year fell, it finished Salford 2, Mansfield 2, both of these League 2 games. Then Port Vale, a real blow to their automatic promotion hopes, beaten 2-1 at home by Newport County. Throw in hoisted into the Fulham penalty area from that left-hand side by Bell. It's going to be collected on the edge of the box by Wilson. Clever ball up to the halfway line. Decordova-Reid tried to chest it into the path of Robinson. Didn't quite reach his intended target, and Luton have a throw. And we've got plenty of live action coming your way across the TalkSport network, including the second leg of both Champions League semi-finals and Europa League semi-finals as well. In comes a cross from the right-hand side by Luton. Reece Burke well forward. It's put back into the penalty area and collected by the green-shirted Rodak.
Yeah, it looks to me like they're going to have a little bit of a go down the right-hand side, Luton. Burke's position there, he's playing essentially as the right-sided centre-half, very, very high. Onyedinma was almost in a right winger's position there. Amari Bell's slightly deeper over on the left-hand side during build-up play, and dropping back into make-up, almost a back four when they're defending, and that's how it looked in the warm-up. They actually warmed up in a back four, so I think a lot of the teams now, depending on where they feel they can get joy offensively, are playing quite a lopsided system, and this looks to be that.
What we can say from the first 8 minutes is, as fast as Fulham started, Luton haven't come here just to sit back and soak up pressure.
No, I think it's a very dangerous game this stage of the season. 2 games to go to try and play for a draw and try and predict what's going to play out. I think they're almost there, aren't they, without a decent swing on the final day in regard to Middlesbrough. A point would do Luton tonight. I'm confident in that, but yeah, dangerous game, especially when you're up against the best team in the division.
They host Reading at home on the final day of the season. You'll hear all the drama on TalkSport 2. Fulham go to Sheffield United on Saturday. Sheffield United still looking to cement themselves in the top 6. That's why they really want the win to guarantee them as champions tonight. Don't forget, live tomorrow on TalkSport 2, we're at the Vitality, Bournemouth against Nottingham Forest in what is effectively a playoff final before the domestic season's even finished. Here is Snodgrass, edge of the Fulham penalty area. Really good response from Luton to that early Fulham pressure. On this occasion, though, Snodgrass pass is overhit and out for a goal kick. It remains 0-0 with 9 minutes gone.
Yeah, decent opportunity there for Onyedinma, saying he wants the ball to feet. I think Snodgrass plays quite an intelligent pass there, just feeds it in behind Robinson for the wing back to motor onto and potentially deliver. Just a breakdown in communication, but another good situation for Luton.
He's one of the players, Robert Snodgrass, who can offer that experience of trying to win promotion to the Championship as Fulham come forward with Carvalho down the right-hand side, plays it out to the right. Wilson's cross into the area, looking for Mitrovic, and it's headed behind, and it was a risky header behind at that, but an excellent piece of defending in the end from Potts, facing his own goal.
Yeah, Harry Wilson equally adept at going on the outside, getting to the byline and digging out crosses as he does there, and just about defended by Luton Town, but it's been a ferocious start to this game. I mean, that Alan Campbell injury must have been very late in the day.
Well, you spotted it in the warm-up.
Yeah, Potts obviously got drafted in to do a little bit more of the team shape, but Campbell was out there for the initial 10 minutes or so whether it's illness and injury, have to wait and see.
Just adds to the tension. Wilson trying to float a ball to Kearney on the edge of the penalty area from the corner. Good idea. Didn't quite find his teammate, and Luton scramble it clear to the halfway line, and maybe more than that, because Snodgrass has played it forward. Jerome looking to get on the end of it, and Marek Rodak comes a good 7 or 8 yards outside his penalty area to clear into touch on this near side.
Tough pass for Snodgrass there to execute, really, on the half volley, popping up off the surface, just had to try to cushion it into Jerome's path, but Rodak good starting position, obviously off the back of a terrible mistake last time out against Nottingham Forest. Well, a mix-up between him and Tim Ream. He'll be pleased to have had that early intervention and just settled any nerves.
Yeah, Fulham's last couple of results, dropping points late in the day at Bournemouth in a really feisty game at the Vitality, drawing 1-1, and that defeat here against Nottingham Forest may be suggesting that they've enjoyed the celebrations after crowning promotion with a 3-0 win here against Preston. Live on TalkSport 2 as the fans rise as one behind the goal away to our right. Lots of black and white scarves being waved into the air. Here's Mitrovic on the edge of the area. He's a Pilliger handball against Potts. Again, the referee says play on. For a moment, Mitrovic, I think, felt he was going to get a shooting chance there to add to the 41 goals he scored already this season. on what is his 100th championship appearance in a Fulham shirt, Mitrovic. I guess the big question, and I posed this to him actually at the EFL Awards, can you translate this goal-scoring form in the second tier to the top flight? He would say, Sam, that he wasn't really given a chance to do so under Scott Parker last season.
No, I think there's a better chance of him starting off in the team. I mean, everyone, I think, is going to look after number one when you're back in the Premier League. So if the goals don't come, I'm sure Marco Silva won't be shy of mixing up his team and his tactics. But the relationship seems to be very good in large contrast to how it was between Scott Parker and Mitrovic towards the end. But we're only as good as your last few games in this industry. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. I would suspect he'll get a better goal return than he's maybe ever got in the top level. I think he's into, was he at 11-12, the previous campaign he had with Fulham.
Danny Hilton, incidentally, has picked up the first yellow card of the game, a raking challenge on the Achilles of Harrison Reed. Didn't look particularly pleasant on the replay. Here is the flame-haired Reed. And the thing about this Fulham team is that many of them have been down this road before. Tim Ream, who plays the ball forward, has played every championship game this season, looking for his, he sealed his third promotion to the top flight, but never really seemed to get the chance in the Premier League. Will that be different under Marco Silva? As deckled over Reed, lays the ball out to the right-hand side. Fulham trying to get across in here with Wilson, looking for Mitrovic, who is down on his backside after a tussle with Burke at the far post, looks hopefully towards the referee, and already you can see that the Luton players, the Luton back line, are not afraid to get up close and personal with Alexander Mitrovic.
No, there's a little tug on his shirt there. I think that's what Mitrovic is appealing for, but that's what you've got to do. Tom Lockyer getting nice and tight and just making sure he can't get the run of you, can't get any arms on him to get above him, and Ingram comes out and takes responsibility in the situation.
That's the view of the former EFL striker Sam Parkin here on TalkSport 2 at Craven Cottage on a glorious night for football, as Naismith picks the ball up inside the centre circle for Luton, scoops it out to the left-hand side. Hilton is tussling, first of all with Tete and then with Tosin, who comes in and wins it. And it's back now with Carvalho, and he's been shoved to the ground, but the referee's played a good advantage, or he did momentarily, as Luton win it back. It will be a free kick. Henry Lansbury, I think, was the offender. Certainly a very competitive opening 14 minutes, as you would expect, with so much at stake. Fulham bidding to seal the title, Luton looking to guarantee a playoff place without the need for any last day drama and tension. The free kick will be taken by Tosin, the former Manchester City man, the Fulham centre-back, part of the Championship Team of the Year. And he finds Robinson down the left-hand side. Forward to deckled over Reed inside the penalty area. Well defended by Lockyer. And the ball is behind for another Fulham corner. They've had 3 already in the opening 14 minutes.
Yeah, Luton players not happy. They thought that deflected back off Bobby Reed to give them the goal kick. I've got a better idea now, seeing it on the monitor. I'm not too sure. It's not conclusive. It's coming together between the two players. Maybe a little bit of gamesmanship from Luton centre-half.
Fulham got the benefit of the doubt. Can they take full advantage? Reed to take the corner from the right-hand side, or the Luton right-hand side. Fulham left, towards the far post it goes. It's headed clear by Lansbury, and out for a throw-in over on the far side of the ground. Not quite such a carnival atmosphere. You can sense a bit of nerves and a bit of tension amongst the Fulham faithful. As I say that, they start to sing their songs again here on TalkSport 2. Quarter of an hour gone, it's Fulham 0, Luton Town 0. We're listening to EFL Live. Kenny Tete has been tripped by Hilton down by the right corner flag. The referee doesn't deem it a foul though. And Tete does well to win it back on the byline. Crosses into the area, headed clear by the leaping Potts. Knocked back towards the 6-yard box. Mitrovic with a header off target and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, good play. Kenny Tete over on the far side, just robbed Amari Bell. Took a fraction too long. problem there is he's put it into the 6-yard box, but all the Fulham players have pulled out. But that said, that's where Tom Kearney picked the ball up, just tried to feed it towards Mitrovic, who, even though he's well marshalled by 2 Luton Town defenders, able to get the header but not on the target.
You are listening to Fulham against Luton Town in the EFL Championship, live on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's Fun Football. Search McDonald's Fun Football to find out more. Fulham, who've lost 3 of their last 5 matches, as I mentioned already, have suffered somewhat of a hangover after sealing promotion. They've been champions in waiting for several months now, as Wilson comes forward trying to release Decordova-Reid down the left, but he's frustrated, Harry Wilson, because he overcooked the pass. It's going to be a throw-in for Luton. Just a couple of occasions, Sam Parkin, when the final ball has gone awry, and maybe that's why Marco Silva is wearing such a frowned expression over on the far side.
Yeah, terrific stuff again to get through Luton's midfield, but just couldn't execute that final pass.
And here come Luton down the left. Amari Bell maybe with a chance to cross into the penalty area. Overlapping run was by Potts, but stabbed clear by Tete, kept in on that far side by the Jamaican Bell. He plays it back towards the halfway line, and Carl Naismith. Come on Fulham is the cry. Hoisted clear by Kearney, but the referee, I think, had spotted an infringement and offside, so it's going to be a free kick for Fulham inside their own half, away to our right. Nathan Jones taking charge of his 100th championship match out on the edge of the technical area.
He's frustrated there because Amari Bell's in a brilliant position. I think it was Dan Potts on the overlap from centre half, and it was a simple ball, but he overcomplicated it, almost flicked it in his direction, a little bit lackadaisical, and the Fulham player was able to intercept, and it was an opportunity for Potts to probably touch and deliver. Nathan Jones in no uncertain terms letting his left wing back to do better.
Hilton flicks the ball forward to Jerome. Handball, I think, by Cameron Jerome. Referee belatedly reacts to the cry of the fans behind that goal away to our right and gives Fulham the free kick. Cameron Jerome promoted by the playoff with Norwich City to the Premier League back in 2015. He will be lending his experience to the rest of the Luton dressing room in the final weeks of the season. 2014, Sam Parkin, when Luton Town were crowned champions of the National League. Who'd have thought 8 years later that we'd be talking about them as a possible Premier League side next season?
Yeah, and a lot of these lads been through that journey, well, certainly from League 2, Danny Hilton being one, obviously Rudder Kampanzu not available this evening. He's done all 4 divisions in the National League as well, so will be there's plenty of column inches that are going to be covered. No problem at all next season if they are to make it. So yeah, done outstandingly well, and as I touched on pre-match, not just about the team and the staff, but the people off the pitch as well.
Here's Jerome, taps it down for Hilton, 10 yards outside the penalty area. He rolls it out to the right hand side, and it's played back in towards Hilton into the box. He slides, but a good piece of defending by Tim Ream to block the cross, albeit at the expense of a corner. Clever little move that. Yeah, Hilton and Jerome interlinking again. Reece Burke was well forward from the back.
Yeah, just would have wanted that fed into his feet, Danny Hilton. He doesn't want to get into a race with anyone, but he's nice and secure. He's got good touch, good awareness, just down the side of Tim Ream, but he did fantastically well, the centre forward, to hook his right foot around it and draw the corner kick out of Tim Ream.
20 minutes gone. Fulham 0, Luton 0. You're listening to TalkSport 2 on this bank holiday Monday evening. It's a corner for Luton Town. It's going to be taken by Snodgrass on this right hand side, so it's a left-footed outswinger. It wasn't a bad ball, goes all the way across the 6-yard box. In the end, nobody in a Luton shirt could get on the end of it. I think Henry Lansbury at the far post maybe was the closest, but that was a wicked ball in.
That's the second one, isn't it? I think you're doing that a disservice. Doesn't get much better than that, I don't think, Crookie. That is an unbelievable delivery. Tosin actually almost ducks underneath it. I think it's Dan Potts at the near post, the closest Luton player to getting the contact, but yeah, Burke's there as well. I can't believe that a Luton head hasn't got contact on that. Brilliant ball.
Another chance that goes begging. Lockyer, I think, was the final contact. Fulham have gone direct here, picking out Decordova-Reid, sprints to keep the ball in play, can't do so. down by the left corner flag. Had he have done, Luton may well have been short-handed at the back, because straight from the goal kick, Fulham launched it long upfield.
Yeah, they can do that, Fulham, because they've got two centre-halves who have had terrific seasons, can play out and hit that diagonal at will if the opponent gets a little bit too narrow, Onyedinma caught up the pitch on that occasion. Bobby Reid recognising it, darting in beyond Onyedinma, and Birkin wonderfully found almost by Tosin.
Just a reminder, we've got big European action this week, tomorrow night, live on Talk Sport. Villarreal against Liverpool, second leg of the Champions League semi-final. Same time on Talk Sport 2, Bournemouth take on Nottingham Forest. That's a 7 o'clock kick-off. In fact, on Wednesday, we'll be in the Bernabeu, the Real Madrid against Manchester City, live on Talk Sport. We've got Arsenal against Tottenham in the WSL, live on Talk Sport 2 at 7:15 on Thursday. Two Europa League commentaries, West Ham and their trip to Eintracht Frankfurt, live on Talk Sport at the same time on 2. The second leg of Rangers against RB Leipzig, plus the first of the League One playoff semi-finals as MK Dons take on Wycombe on Friday night. Talk Sport, a huge playoff semi-final in League One, as Sunderland host Sheffield Wednesday. What a week on the Talk Sport network, what a climax to the season. 0-0 here at Craven Cottage. Fulham still looking for that breakthrough goal to move a giant stride closer to being crowned champions tonight. The trophy is here. It was on a plinth at the mouth of the tunnel before kick-off, but the only way Fulham will be lifting it is with a win, even though a point pretty much secures them as champions. They will have to wait in those circumstances until the final day, and that trip to Sheffield United. One Fulham fan to our left has taken offence to Tosin launching a long ball upfield, Sam Parker. Wasn't happy about that at all.
He wasn't, but there has to be a mixture to the game, doesn't it? They're trying to probe and trying to play through Luton. They're pretty well set up at the moment. Tom Kenny's kind of pushing on when they've got possession, making it almost like they're playing with two number 10s, and they're breaking away again now.
Kearney, good ball out the right-hand side, releasing Harry Wilson. Wilson looks up, sees three white shirts in the centre. What is Mitrovic? Gets the shot away, tight angle. Easy save at the near post by Ingram. But that was probably Fulham's best attacking move of the opening 23 minutes. Good ball from Kearney, releasing Wilson down the right. Wilson looked up, saw the run of Mitrovic darting across the 6-yard box. The finish, Sam Parkin, just lacked a bit of conviction from an acute angle.
Yeah, tough, because Tom Lockyer was right there, putting him under pressure. Ingram got his angles absolutely spot on, and he just actually couldn't wrap his right foot around it to generate any power that would have been required to fly past the Luton goalkeeper. So work the keeper, but comfortable stop.
Imagine that Fulham fan if they were struggling against relegation and not clear at the top and having scored 99 goals. Some people are never happy, are they, with their team? Here is Lockyer, 10 yards inside the Luton half, scoops it forward, flicked on by Hilton, but the offside flag is up against the Nigerian Onyedinma. And it will be a free kick now in the left back area for Fulham. I think Nathan Jones, Sam Parkin, will be fairly satisfied with the first 24 minutes of this one.
Yeah, I think so. They've limited Fulham to one or two half chances. Had plenty of the ball, although not really hurt Fulham going the other way. The couple of set pieces, which he'll know will be a good avenue for them today, because they're not going to get an abundance of chances in open play. But yeah, so far so good. He'll be comfortable, because so often I think during their championship tenure they've come away to bigger sides, maybe not so much this season as the previous one, and gone away with narrow victories. They're almost experts in that, certainly were during the last campaign. So yeah, he'll be pleased. 25 minutes and very much in the game.
And they've won 9 away games this season in the Championship, never 10 in their history in the second tier. They've also amassed more points in 2022 than any other team, 43 in total. They were 14th, Luton, on New Year's Day. It's been quite the turnaround since the turn of the year. The wrestling match going on down by the left corner flag. Amari Bell and Kenny Tete giving each other no quarter. In the end, Luton have a throw level with the 18-yard box, so Bell will line up and go for the big run up that suggests he will launch this into the 18-yard box. The floodlights over on that Riverside stand fire into life. Quite bright, actually. This floodlights should be. Certainly startled a few of us here in the press box. Dan Windle's just woken up. And it's ball now on the halfway line. And Luton play it over to the left-hand side. Deep cross into the area. Plenty of black shirts forward, but again it evades them all. And it will be a goal kick now for Fulham with a score at 0-0.
That's a real shame again, and you can tell from Nathan Jones' reaction, he knows that's a chance. I mean, Rano Smith is probably, he's only about 15 yards into the Fulham half, but they had 5 bodies in the box, 5 against 4 momentarily there. Had the delivery had a bit more quality on it, you would have fancied one of those Luton players to get that first contact, and then Fulham could have been in trouble. But another waste from a wide position, and that's probably happened too often for Nathan Jones' liking in a very even opening 26 minutes.
Well, this is only the 4th time that these two sides have met in the league this century. Luton haven't, it's 5th time rather, Luton haven't won any of the previous 4. Green plays it forward to Deco-Deva-Reid on the halfway line. Carvalho out to the right, and Mitrovic is going to try and get there ahead of Lockyer. Lockyer sliding in, gets just enough on the ball to concede a throw over on the far side. In fact, the referee has decided it wasn't a clean tackle and a yellow card has been shown.
Well, it's a free kick because Mitrovic knows when he's travelling, the ball's travelling, just needs to get his toe there. Lockie's going to commit to the challenge. What it's not is it's not a yellow card. I mean, it's just a player trying to make a challenge. So the referee's got to be more lenient than that.
Another heated exchange on the back of that between the two managers, Marco Silva and Nathan Jones, over on the far touchline. In the end, they exchange a handshake, but it is a booking for Lockyer. So 2 Luton yellow cards already in these first 28 minutes. Hasn't really been that type of game, and it will be a Fulham free kick just outside the penalty area, 5 yards in from the right touchline. Harrison Reed looks like he will be the man to play this into the box. Mitrovic jostling for position, he was the target, but it's well won by Onyedinma. And he tries to make progress down the right, and he's pulled up. And this is another injury concern, I think, for Luton. Onyedinma, who missed the last game against Blackpool, looks in some discomfort, Sam Parkin. Fulham are playing on. That won't please Nathan Jones, but he did leave the pitch, in fairness, and came back on to try and get the game halted. Here is Robinson in the orange boots on the edge of the area. For the moment, Luton are down to 10 men. Fulham keeping possession. He's just sat down on Onyedinma, and the cross from Tete doesn't find Mitrovic. It's sliced clear by Reece Burke, kept in play by Wilson on the far side, linking up with Tete, the right back, and here's Harrison Reed. He'll play it short towards the penalty area to Kearney. Wilson on the overlap. This is good from Fulham. Wilson finds Kearney, shoots into the top corner. Fulham have their 100th goal of the season, and it's Tom Kearney with the strike that could just seal the title. An emphatic left foot finish into the top corner. Luton won't be happy because Onyedinma was down injured, but he did leave the pitch and then come back on. But Fulham, with 29 minutes played, lead Luton Town by a goal to nil at Craven Cottage, and the home fans go wild.
Well, it's tough on Luton because Fulham have the numerical advantage for a minute or so on Onyedinma on the turf, but I'm not going to take anything away from Harry Wilson in particular, because he works it brilliantly. This combination play between Kearney then Wilson. You think Wilson's just going to bend one towards the far post, but has the awareness just to slip it to his left, perfectly weighted for Kearney, who is an expert in these situations. He uses Potts as the shield and just bends it back where it's come from, almost bit of disguise. Ingram can't react. Brilliant goal.
Super strike from Tom Kearney, his 3rd goal of the season. The man who's been up and down with Fulham more times than your average firefighter, and he's the man who's broken the deadlock to send Craven Cottage into raptures.
So disappointing for Luton, because when the ball broke out there and I thought Onyedinma up against Kearney, here we go, they're in business. And I think it was a 1v1 in the middle of the pitch, sprinting towards Marek Rodak's goal, and obviously Onyedinma pushed it out of his feet. Tom Kearney knew he was in trouble, all of a sudden Onyedinma pulls up with an injury. So bitterly disappointed, because I'm sure Nathan Jones' emotions went for, hello, we've got an unbelievable counter-attacking opportunity here to not another player that's going to have to leave with an injury. So up against it already, even more so now.
Peter Kioso is being ready as the Fulham fans stand as one, proclaiming their team as champions. They're not there yet, but that century of championship goals certainly has edged Marco Silva's men a huge step closer to the title. A sad end to the evening for Onyedinma, and another injury blow for the playoff chasers of Luton Town. On comes Kioso.
Probably going to be, he probably won't make the playoffs now either, Onyedinma, if that's a muscle tear, which it looks to be. He's really struggling to walk off the pitch. Kioso, more than a decent deputy, had a really good season, versatile player. We're filling on this right hand side, no problem.
He's being helped back to the dressing room, Onyedinma, by two members of Luton's medical staff. A real party mood now around Craven Cottage, those clackers and those flags being held high into the sky. The breakthrough goal, the nerve settler, a super strike from Tom Kearney, and maybe fitting that he's the man who's got Fulham on the road to the title. The captain restored to the starting lineup this evening, and he has repaid his manager and some. Fulham 1, Luton Town 0. You're listening to TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. And Luton, who are up against it anyway, given their lengthy list of absentees, are going to have to come from behind to claim a precious point in their hunt for a top 6 finish. Otherwise, they're going to need a positive result, you feel, against Reading at Kenilworth Road on the final day of the season. No chance for Matt Ingram to make himself a hero on his Hatters debut. The ball sailed beyond him into that top left-hand corner as we look. Terrific strike from Kearney. And you would expect Sam Park in Fulham to go on now and really assert their authority.
Yeah, it's about staying in the game now for Luton, trying to get to half-time. They're having a good spell now, Fulham. The confidence is there. That said, Carvalho dropping really deep just to get a little touch there. How quiet's he been? I'd probably say he's been the most impressive player that I've seen throughout this championship campaign. I've absolutely loved watching him. He is purred throughout this campaign, but hardly had a kick to this point.
Lockyer out to the right-hand side in Kioso. Plays it down the line to the Welshman Lockyer. Harrison Reed snapping away. Concedes a throw down by the right corner flag. A chance once again for Luton to load up that penalty area away to our right-hand side. We've got 11 minutes of the first half to play. Fulham leading by that Kearney goal to 0. And the Fulham fans not really in any mood to get the ball back, Sam.
Nah, the chap's just kicked it out of the ground there, which I'm not sure is
quite impressive if you think about it.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It wasn't much backlift, but I'm not sure 34 minutes in that's necessarily called for with Luton Town.
Wonderful scenes though. You have to say, the Fulham fans really whipping up an atmosphere. Love coming here anyway. It's such a fantastic venue down by the Thames, one of the iconic grounds in English football. And the home fans ready to roar their team to the title. They lead 1-0. The later leader throw-in taken short by Kioso to Naismith. Kioso with a cross from the right, fizzed in, headed away by Carvalho at the near post, and then De Cordova-Reid there ahead of Naismith. And Naismith comes across and concedes a throw. You mentioned Carvalho. I guess mixed emotions for him, because as Dan Windle mentioned before kick-off, it's a pretty open secret now that move to Liverpool that was delayed by a paperwork issue on transfer deadline day in January will now happen. Had he have gone in January, he would have been loaned back for the rest of the season. That's a great turn by Carvalho to get away from Snodgrass. He's been rugby tackled to the floor, and that will be a yellow card for Snodgrass. I think that was a reaction to really being embarrassed by the teenager.
Yeah, the Cruyff turn on the half volley initially to get away from The first Luton player was sumptuous, and then it did Snodgrass on a couple of occasions. Wonderful stuff, and yeah,
Snodgrass it'll be his last game at Craven Cottage, so maybe that's why he's been a bit subdued. But he wasn't subdued there, Carvalho.
No,
certainly came to life.
Good stuff. Snodgrass has had 1, 2, 3 kicks at him, and then 4. Do you know what? That's the end of your progress, and took him down with a rugby tackle.
They've got to be careful here though, Luton, because they've lost one player due to injury. They've got 3 now on yellow cards. What they can't afford is to pick up any suspensions, given they're light on numbers anyway. Just an apology, incidentally, if you picked up any crude language from the Fulham fans behind us. We are right in the heart of the home supporters here at Craven Cottage on a night when Fulham want to seal the championship title, and they are well on the way to doing that. They lead by a goal to nil, scored by Tom Kearney, their captain, in the 29th minute. A rocket shot from just inside the penalty area, and another late challenge, and another booking. This time Reece Burke has left one on Carvalho, who's coming in for a bit of rough treatment all of a sudden.
It might have been Lansbury, actually. Yeah, Henry Lansbury. I think Burke's there as well.
Well, they both fouled him. I think the worst challenge actually was Lansbury, so that's where the yellow card has gone, but it was almost like a sandwich in between the two. Nathan Jones, meanwhile, is pointing and bellowing in the face of the fourth official. Marco Silva comes across to just inquire what is going on. It's been an ill-disciplined last few minutes for Luton Town.
You've got to be competitive, though. You know, I think there's been a few soft yellow cards. What's he expecting them to do? To come here to the best team in the division and not get stuck in? There's a few decisions that I think that the referee could have been a little bit more lenient with, but yeah, discipline is a big part of it, Alex. You're right, because having lost on your dimmer, they can't afford to lose another player, or this game is gone.
Warm welcome to listeners from Talk Sport. 38 minutes gone here at Craven Cottage. Fulham leading by a goal to nil. Tom Kearney, a brilliant left foot shot into the top corner just before the half-hour mark. As it stands, Fulham will be crowned as champions tonight. And here is Carvalho. Suddenly the party tricks are coming out. Carvalho infield to Kearney. Now Kenny Tete making progress down the right-hand side. Harry Wilson into Carvalho. Lovely back heel to Wilson. Now Robinson on the edge of the area, shoots left-footed. Blocked by Kyoto. That would have been an excellent Fulham goal, and they look in the mood now, Sam Parkin.
Yeah, the intricate football breaking out in Luton's half. Nice intricate stuff there. Harry Wilson purring right now. Carvalho, immediately after I said he had a really quiet beginning to this game, is starting to get on the ball and makes things happen. So all about staying in the game for Luton Town now, trying to get to half-time with the goal behind. Nathan Jones have a word with his players and try and salvage something from this evening's game.
Robinson with a cross into the area. Mitrovic actually headed it away from goal, but Tete is going to put it back into the mixer. Mitrovic climbing, and it's guided clear in the end by Naismith. All hands on deck for Luton. 6 minutes to go until half-time. Their need for points is desperate in terms of the top 6, but it's Fulham at the moment who are inching towards the title. It is Fulham 1, Luton Town 0. Robinson with a throw from this near side into the goal scorer Kearney. Robinson with a cross over the head of Mitrovic. Not had too many opportunities, Mitrovic, to get to that 42nd goal. Here's Tete though! Oh, that's a belter! Kenny Tete from 25 yards out into the bottom right-hand corner. Matt Ingram once again was stranded, and surely now Fulham are going to be crowned champions in style. 5 minutes of the first half remaining. Kenny Tete has his second of the season. It is Fulham 2, Luton 0.
Yeah, Luton just getting a little bit disjointed the last 5 minutes. Fulham starting to enjoy themselves, just couldn't clear their lines, but when it breaks to Kenny Tete and he steadies himself for the first touch, I'm thinking surely he's not going to take it on with his weaker left-hand side, but he catches it absolutely perfectly. It's a rocket, daisy cutter, flies past Ingram into the near post.
I was almost reluctant to say that Kenny Tete had smashed that in with his left foot, because it seemed so unlikely from the right back, but it was his weaker foot, you couldn't tell, and Fulham are in dreamland. 2-0 up, and that could be a damaging goal for Luton as well in terms of goal difference. What they can't afford here, Sam Parkin, is to take a real hammering.
No, easier said than done though, isn't it, when Fulham are in this mood and there's no pressure. I'll tell you what though, got a 2-0 game. Luton have been okay so far this evening. They need to take a little bit from that. Fulham by all means haven't been at their best. The last 5 minutes have started to turn it on after the first goal went in, but Luton just need to calm themselves down. Nathan Jones needs to think long and hard about what you were just saying probably, Alex. Is it damage limitation? Is the way that they can just make sure that this second half plays out rather than Fulham rack up the goals?
They've scored 105 goals now this season across all competitions, matching their previous best back in 2001. I think they'll probably eclipse it even before the night is out. And having taken confidence from that superb strike from Kearney to break the deadlock, Fulham really had started to play their football, the type of football that has seen them looking down on the rest of the Championship all season long. And at the moment, Luton just can't keep pace with the leaders. Brilliant noise once again inside Craven Cottage as Mitrovic turns away from Lockyer, and he's played it through for Carvalho, and it had to be a perfectly timed tackle for Reece Burke, otherwise it would have been a penalty and a red card. He just about got there ahead of Carvalho. What a pass from Mitrovic.
Yeah, tremendous stuff from the centre forward, dropping in inch perfect. And you're right, Alex, I held my breath there. I thought the night was going to get even tougher there for Luton Town. Burke's challenge, he takes a risk by going to ground, must have got a toe on the ball. Carvalho didn't appeal. What a challenge.
Fulham 2, Luton 0 here on TalkSport 2. Just looking at the as it stands table, Luton will remain 2 points ahead of Middlesbrough, 3 of Millwall, but they're now on the same goal difference as Borough, both on plus 12, heading in to the final weekend of the season. When, as I've already mentioned to you, Luton will be at home to Reading, Millwall go to Preston, two sides in opposition with nothing to play for. They need to keep the scoreline down here, Luton Town. Easier said than done against a rampant Fulham. Harrison Reed on the edge of the centre circle for the Cottagers, who are in almost complete control now, as Sam said, having been matched by the visitors for the first half an hour before Kearney gave them the lead. Mitrovic dropping deep into midfield, and he's spreading it through for Wilson, who's rounded the goalkeeper. It's going to be 3-0, no! Brilliant goal line clearance. Stunning defending by Lockyer. Somehow got back there to steer the ball away. A wry smile across the face of Harry Wilson. Looked for all the world as if Fulham were going to go 3-0 up.
That's brilliant defending. Lockyer. Mitrovic, it's a carbon copy, isn't it? A through ball for one of his other supporting cast members. Harry Wilson on this occasion goes round the goalkeeper. He's just about got the angle to work the ball towards the target, but Lockyer doesn't give up on it. What a saving challenge once more.
Well, Mitrovic in the last 5 minutes has suddenly turned into Harry Kane, dropping into midfield and laying on chances for his teammates. Not usually the way that he goes about his business. Harrison Reed with a corner. Mitrovic the target, but it's nodded away by the Luton captain Naismith. They just want to get to half-time now. Only 2 down, you sense. Here's Wilson though, brilliant take from the sky inside the penalty area, and then plays it out to Tossin. He's urged to shoot, does so, 30 yards out, right-footed, straight into the arms of Ingram. They all fancy a crack.
They do. Good effort, stinging strike from Tossin, but yeah, Ingram sees it all the way. They've changed actually, Luton, the shape, the formation. They're in the back four now. Snodgrass has gone wide on the right-hand side, and Amari Bell is pushed up to play left wing. So 4-2-3-1. Danny Hilton supporting Cameron Jerome, and I feel that is a bit of a defensive move just to get those two sitting midfield players, Lansbury and Cal Naismith, on the toes of the two centre halves, just try and close down the gaps. And Cameron Jerome's got an even tougher night ahead of him, it would look, just as a lone centre forward now.
It's the last few seconds of normal time in this first half. Deckled over Reed, looking for Mitrovic. Brings it down inside the area, thought about the shot, but he was taken very wide by Lockyer. And in the end, Mitrovic content to settle for a corner. He won't be happy, Mitrovic, if he doesn't get his name on the score sheet tonight.
No, I mean, he's played two absolutely sumptuous balls, but not been able to get into too many scoring opportunities himself. But there has been more to his game this season. I think it's the most assists he's ever supplied in a campaign. 7 he's on for the season. So Harry Wilson was quick to say that about him the other day. His all-round game has been immaculate. It's not just been about the 40 goals, as strange as that sounds.
41. Don't take one away from him. You're a former striker. Here's Tete chipping the ball into the penalty area. Cleared as far as Harrison Reed. Tete, scorer of the second goal for Fulham, continues his run down the right. Wins a throw. I haven't actually seen the board sound go up for added time yet. Is it 2 minutes? 2 minutes. 3 minutes. And we've played one of them already. 2-0 Fulham lead. You're listening to TalkSport 2, the end of a busy Bank Holiday Monday in the EFL. It's been a huge weekend actually. Plenty to be sorted. There was going into the final day of the League One campaign. We brought you all the action from there on Saturday. And we will of course be across the drama on the final day of the Championship season next Saturday, when Luton might just need a result to secure their playoff berth. They trail by 2-0. Fulham can put their feet up against Sheffield United as it stands. And it's a throw in down the left hand side for Luton, launched forward by Potts, and now Hilton dropping back into his own half. It's played forward by Naismith. A neat little flick on by Snodgrass to Kioso down the right. Lansbury back to Reece Burke. Luton just trying to keep possession and take the sting out of the game at the end of the first half and try and get back to the sanctuary of the dressing room. Only 2 goals down. Big team talk ahead for Nathan Jones. Marco Silva will just ask for more of the same from his Fulham players. We're into the last 50 seconds of added on time. Mitrovic sliding in to block the ball upfield from Burke. The home fans enjoyed that. And maybe that's an illustration of what Sam Parkin was saying, that he is a more rounded player now. Mitrovic certainly looks a lot fitter as well than he did when they were last in the Premier League. Here's Decordova-Reid trying to break the line. The flag is up. A good challenge by Kioso inside the penalty area, but he was offside. Decordova-Reid, Sam, and that will probably be the last meaningful action of the first half.
Yeah, it's been a tough 15 minutes, hasn't it? They'll be really relieved to hear the whistle. Tom Kearney with a lovely sumptuous through ball there, perfectly weighted. Bobby Reid's touch immaculate. Kioso does make the saving challenge, but very nearly another opportunity for Fulham, and it's been far too easy for the midfield players in the last 15 minutes to drop deep and pick that pass, not being pressed. This changing shape should secure Luton up a little bit, I would say.
But the half-time whistle has blown. Fulham halfway to lifting a championship tonight. Home fans on their feet, fully appreciative of what they've seen from Marco Silva's men in the first half. It was pretty even for the opening 29 minutes until Tom Kearney, with one sweet left foot strike, picked out the top corner. Luton lost their heads for a while after that, and Kenny Tete with another rocket shot from 25 yards, doubling the home side's lead. So far, so good for Marco Silva. It could be damage limitation for the Hatters in the second half as they look to cling on to their place in the top 6, but the home fans are ready to party. Yes, indeed, Fulham 2 goals to the good at half-time. In the process, they've become the first side since Tottenham Hotspur way back in 1960-61 to score 50 or more goals, both home and away, in a single league campaign. That across the top 4 tiers of English football. Also the first side to reach a century in the second tier since Manchester City in 2002. A huge task now for Luton Town, not just to get back into this game, but to stop Fulham running riot at a euphoric Craven Cottage, Sam Parkin. What will Nathan Jones possibly have been able to say to his charges at half-time to give them hope of pulling off a quite remarkable comeback?
I think they have to forget about the last 15 minutes, because the previous half an hour wasn't bad at all. They'd had a bit of a threat, not necessarily in open play, but got into some okay situations which had produced a few set pieces which Snodgrass has got immaculate quality from. So, you know, Fulham, how much does Fulham want to go after goal after goal? Yes, there's a level of freedom about their performance. Now there's no pressure whatsoever. They can enjoy themselves, but with that probably comes a bit of sloppiness and complacency. So the next goal, that's always a bit of a cliche, but the next goal in this game, that could really turn it on its head. Could be game over, could be party time, or it could be a nervous ending for Fulham once more.
Well, they've had a couple of 7-0 wins already this season, Fulham. We are back off and underway here on TalkSport 2, your home of the EFL. Fulham 2 goals up in their white shirts, black shorts, white socks, attacking from left to right in the second half. Luton in their largely black away shirts, white shorts and black socks, are now shooting towards the end of the ground where their 2,000 travelling Hatters fans are gathered, but all of the noise is being generated by those Fulham supporters. They came to party and they are determined to make the most of it. Throw in for Luton, no change in personnel. Both teams starting the second half with the sides that finished the first. So Fulham have Rodak in goal, Tete, Tosin, Ream and Robinson in defence. Reed and the captain who got the opening goal, Kearney, in front of them. Carvalho, Wilson, Decordova-Reid behind Mitrovic up front for Luton. Ingram in goal, having signed only yesterday. Burke, Lockyer and Potts in front of him. Kyoto on as a first half substitute, and Bell are the wing backs. Lansbury, Naismith and Snodgrass in midfield, then Cameron Jerome and Danny Hilton largely starved of service up front. Luton's last win here at Craven Cottage way back in 1998 in the old Division 2. It would take something remarkable for them to end that long wait. Here's Harry Wilson, finds Kearney. Kearney looking for Mitrovic, who again has dropped deep into midfield. Carvalho helps the ball forward to Robinson, lays it for Carvalho on the edge of the penalty area, thought about the shot, blocked. Kearney, left-footed strike, may have clipped the top of the crossbar. It's behind for a goal kick, and it looked destined for the top right-hand corner. It was another stupendous shot from Tom Kearney.
Yeah, good start to the second half, breaks lovely for him, Tom Kearney, and when that ball's travelling, he's just going to try and bend it into the top left-hand corner. Just gets a little bit too much elevation on it. We're talking inches though, just kissed the top of the netting, didn't it, and away to safety for Luton Town's perspective. They've gone back into the back five, so that change was only for the last 5 or 6 minutes of that first half. Snodgrass definitely went wide on the right-hand side, and Amari Bell was playing high on the left, so I think he's probably had a conversation possibly with his staff, or maybe even brought the players into that and decided how best to go for the second half.
Lansbury forward to Jerome, had the ball stolen away by Tosin just as he was about to let fly on the edge of the penalty area. Cameron Jerome, there was a great illustration of the power of Alexander Mitrovic just before that on the halfway line, rolling Tom Lockyer. It was a physical mismatch. He does look leaner and meaner, Mitrovic, than when Fulham last graced the Premier League.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal season. He's playing with ridiculous confidence. He'll be motivated next time, won't he? I mean, I'm sure he would have had opportunities to move on next to probably a number of leagues across the globe and earn more money than he's earning here, but he obviously loves life here. He's on a good contract, a meaty contract. Let's not get away from that. He should be scoring goals in the second tier, but to be able to do it in this fashion, in this manner, it's sensational. 40 goals at any level is an incredible achievement.
They have a free kick to defend Fulham, played in by Snodgrass towards the near post. It's put up in the air, but not really clear by Bobby Decordova-Reid. Kyoto tries to knot it down. Fulham have got it away, and they can counter here with the pace of Carvalho. He's got Wilson and Mitrovic in support. Mitrovic screaming for the pass, and Carvalho tried to find the top scorer, and it was a really important block by Lansbury to stop the pass reaching its intended target. They were wide open there, Luton.
Yeah, he's such an incredible traveller with the ball. Carvalho, one of the best sights in the Championship this season is him slaloming away from opponents, and I don't think he did too much wrong there, to be honest. He drew the first Luton player towards him, tried to slip it into the feet of Mitrovic with the right pass, just couldn't find the angle.
Then Tete brings the ball down imperiously on the chest, got there ahead of Bell and quickly plays it forward to Harry Wilson. Now Kearney in the right wing position for Fulham. We lead by 2-0. 5 minutes gone in the second half here on TalkSport 2. Kearney, neat little bit of footwork on the edge of the area, gets away from Bell, gets the ball back from Mitrovic, then plays it out right to Tete. Tete trying to work himself into a crossing position, comes short in the M4, Kearney. Luton Town keeping their shape well here, and Harry Wilson has to go all the way back to toss it on the halfway line. Olays from the Fulham supporters as Tim Ream looks to play it down the left-hand side for Decor Dover-Reid. Overhit the pass, it will be a throw-in and some sarcastic boos for Tim Ream. Very popular figure here at Craven Cottage, the American, the only Fulham player to have started each of their 45 now championship games this season. Sam Parkin, what have you made of the early exchanges in this second half?
Difficult for Luton to get out, really, isn't it? To get any kind of rhythm in this game. Fulham very comfortable, composed on the ball, as you would expect, knocking it about. The confidence levels of Wilson and Carvalho absolutely through the roof right now, and difficult to contain.
It's another yellow card here, and I don't think Dan Potts can have any complaints at all. He went right through the back of Harry Wilson. 5 bookings for Luton. You're going to see a replay now, Sam. Never going to get the ball.
No, it's a challenge that he doesn't need to go for there. Just allow Harry Wilson to take it. He actually puts his arm on the referee there. The referee does react to him. Just seeing it again on the monitor. I saw it live. Bit fortunate, maybe.
He looked at him in disgust, Tim Robinson, but decides not to go back for the pocket. But they've got to be careful. I've said it already. Fulham 5 yellow cards now. One more misplaced challenge and they could find themselves down to 10 men. That's the last thing they want, not only here today, but in terms of going into the final game of the season at home to Reading, when they might need a win. Lacking more bodies.
It was a friendly kind of gesture, wasn't it, from Potts rather than anger. So yeah, the referee's right to just let that go, but a bit of a dangerous challenge. I think Harry Wilson does play for it on occasion, but there he was caught with a 4-1.
David Plutton is here today working with television. It wasn't quite his shove against Arsenal for Southampton or Di Canio on Paul Alcock, but it was still risky from Dan Potts, and probably just sums up Luton's frustration. It's been a difficult night by and large, as they would have expected against this calibre of opponent, but they've caused surprises already in the Championship this season. They would have come here believing they could be party poopers. Hasn't quite worked out that way. Fulham leading by 2-0. We played 8 minutes in the second half. Naismith trying to guide the ball forward. Only as far as Robinson, the American, but his ball for Mitrovic was under hit and picked up by Naismith inside the centre circle. Here now is Potts just inside Fulham territory. They're just trying to keep the ball here, Luton, and frustrate the home team and silence the crowd. That's easier said than done. They've been in brilliant spirit, the Fulham supporters. John Mikel Seri warming up over on the far side is getting a nice rendition just at the moment. They're going through the songbook as much as the players have gone through their party tricks tonight. Here's Kearney, score of the opening goal. Left-footed into the top corner on 29 minutes. Kenny Tete doubled that lead 5 minutes before half-time from range. Wilson has played it forward, and there's the third for Fulham. It's another excellent finish, and it's Carvalho with what might well be a parting gift to the Fulham fans. The ball fizzed into his feet. He didn't have to break stride, Carvalho, and he guides it unerringly into the bottom corner to make it Fulham 3, Luton 0, and in the process becomes the first teenager since Ryan Sessegnon for Fulham back in 2018 to score 10 goals in a championship season. Fulham 3, Luton 0.
Well, they just can't get anywhere near this youngster at the moment. It's Mitrovic taking up a little position off the front once more. Sumptuous touch from Harry Wilson. The rotation of that front 3 players. Carvalho started that move almost on the far touchline, and it's becoming his signature move, isn't it? His signature finish in off the left-hand side. It's the way he doesn't break stride. It's the pace that he makes the decision and then the execution. It's not an easy finish, that, and it's right in the side netting. What a player we're watching here. Great goal.
And the crowd are on their feet again at Craven Cottage. They haven't had a night like this for some time. Shaheed Khan, the owner, in his programme note saying it's the greatest achievement of his 9-year tenure. And Fulham are crowning themselves champion in emphatic fashion here, and you wonder how many more goals they might help themselves to by the end of the evening. Foul by Lansbury on Wilson. He has to be careful because he's one of those players walking that disciplinary tightrope, Lansbury.
Yeah, and they can ill afford to lose another player in that position, and he's one that's been involved in combat from the first minute, really. Fortunate probably not to get yellow carded until he did do towards the tail end of the first half, and another challenge probably that he didn't need to make there, snapping into Harry Wilson, who, as I said, he's almost running this game. He's not got himself a goal, but he's been involved in everything that Fulham have done well.
He's been a tremendous addition, hasn't he? 11 goals, 17 assists coming into tonight, Harry Wilson. Paid big money to recruit him from Liverpool. I think that's been repaid. And on the subject of Liverpool, Sam, what on earth does Jurgen Klopp do with Carvalho next season when you look at the calibre of player that he'll be competing against, replacing that Liverpool attack?
Well, there's no doubt in my mind he's good enough to get Premier League minutes. Whether that's going to be enough to satisfy the player, the agent, everyone else, the decision makers at Liverpool, I'm not so sure. The simple answer to your question, Vicky, would be let him go out on loan again to a Premier League club and play a season in the Premier League. Ideally with Fulham, it would be a place that he knows. Maybe they've got bigger dreams for him. Maybe he could go and play European football somewhere next year.
Stand up for the champions. That's the message from the home supporters. It's a message to which Luton Town and many of their championship rivals before them have had no answer. It's been a scintillating display from the hosts, a fitting way to clinch the title. They lead by 3 goals to 0, and you sense it could be a long final 33 minutes for Luton. They're relieved that Harry Wilson has strayed into an offside position. It will be a free kick.
Yeah, it's a night where it started quite brightly for Luton. I thought they looked up for it. The game plan wasn't necessarily that clear because you're coming up against a ridiculously tough opponent and you've lost some mainstays of your side. I thought, the energy in midfield, that was going to be pivotal tonight. And obviously that's been taken away from them, really, through injury. Losing Campbell would have been a big player for Luton Town tonight, and Onyedinma Dimma being in incredible form, playing in an unnatural position, up against it from that moment, really, as soon as that Tom Kearney goal went in, and not been able to stabilise in this second half as of yet. They can't get the ball.
Fulham totally dominant. Robinson over the halfway line. They lead 3-0. You listen to Talk Sport 2 on Coronation Night for Marco Silva's men. Now tossing. Picks the ball up midway inside his own half, strides away from Hilton, plays it out to the left hand side, and Robinson brings it over halfway, quickly goes up through the gears. Robinson lays it out to Decor Dover-Reid. Now Carvalho, scorer of an excellent third goal for Fulham. They've all been sumptuous strikes. Mitrovic into Decor Dover-Reid, got a bit excitable, and his pass looking for Wilson, overhit, and in the end Potts has to watch it behind for a goal kick for Luton. Just a reminder once again of more live football coming your way this week. Tomorrow, your choice of listening here on TalkSport 2, huge game. Promotion decider potentially. Bournemouth against Nottingham Forest. 7 o'clock kick-off, earlier time than usual. At 8 o'clock on TalkSport, we'll have the second leg of Villarreal against Liverpool. That Champions League semi-final, Adrian Durham and the team live in Spain, as they will be on Wednesday night when Real Madrid host Manchester City live on TalkSport for an 8 o'clock kick-off. Also on Wednesday here on TalkSport 2, 7:15, it's WSL North London derby, Arsenal against Tottenham, and on Thursday, 2 Europa League semi-final second legs, Frankfurt against West Ham on TalkSport, Rangers Leipzig on TalkSport 2, and the first leg of the League One playoff semi-final between Wickham and MK Dons. You don't need to go anywhere else for your fix of football this week. And that's before we get into the final day of the championship season on Saturday. Here's Tete, plays the ball infield to Harrison Reed. These Fulham players know now, not only will they be rubbing shoulders with Manchester City, Liverpool and the rest of the Premier League elite next season, they'll be doing it as champions of the second tier. They haven't been able to say that in 21 years, Fulham. It's been worth the wait these fans inside Craven Cottage will be feeling. Tim Ream, the blonde-haired American, plays the ball into Tussin. Very difficult now, Sam Parkin, as an opposition player with the Olays coming from the crowd. They just want to get back on the bus, these Luton players, and make their way home, don't they?
They do. I think the culture that Nathan Jones has created at Luton, though, he'll be still looking for a reaction, looking for the players that can stand up in this last half an hour and give a bit of a performance, but at the moment it's looking increasingly difficult. He's looking for the substitutes bench, it would seem now, though.
Kearney out to Wilson. Fans on their feet behind the goal. Wilson with a cross into the penalty area, headed clear by the skipper for Luton, Naismith. Picked up again by the Welshman Wilson. Halfway inside Luton territory. A rip-roaring atmosphere at Craven Cottage. Smiles all around amongst the Fulham faithful. And here's Tossing inside the centre circle to again breathe into Fulham territory and glides away from Snodgrass, who, having already been yellow carded, knew he couldn't risk a challenge on Tossing. Kearney now. Fulham dominating possession, moving the ball around sweetly. Reid forward to Mitrovic. First time layoff back to the ex-Southampton man Reid. Now Tete. Scorer of the second Fulham goal, trying to play it through for Wilson. He deserves the goal, Wilson. Rise the challenge. Here's Mitrovic. First shot blocked. Second one into the corner. Well, it wouldn't truly be party night without an Alexander Mitrovic goal. He goes level with Guy Whittingham on 42 goals in the second tier, as his teammates bundle on the big Serbian in celebration and the scarves being thrown onto the pitch. Alexander Mitrovic makes it Fulham 4, Luton Town 0.
Well, he deserves it. Been involved heavily, but maybe not in that crucial area, crucial positions where he can get goals, but they're walking through Luton Town now. But what a pass in the build-up from Kenny Tete, in behind Potts for Wilson. He makes that run brilliantly in between full-backs and centre-halves. It's so quick, his presence of mind, Wilson, just a little bit of movement, and he gets away from Amari Bell, no problem. It's a great block initially from Lockyer, I think it is, coming across, but the ball falls fortuitously, or it was meant to be, perfectly for Mitrovic. He's not going to miss that. In off the inside of the post, Mitrovic has his goal.
Welcome once again to listeners of Talk Sport. Mitro, that's the cry of the jubilant Fulham fans. Not only are they going to be crowned champions tonight, they're going to be crowned champions in style. They lead by 4-0. Alexander Mitrovic, their main man, has just tucked away goal number 42 of the season. He needs one more now to shatter Guy Whittingham's second-tier record that stood since the 1992-93 season. And you do wonder, Sam Parkin, how many more goals will Fulham score between now and full time?
Yeah, I mean, the front four, unbelievably full of confidence at the moment. They're putting on a show for these Fulham supporters. Just Bobby Reid, who hasn't scored at the moment. Carvalho and Wilson are really pulling out the party tricks. Now Mitrovic has got his goal, and Luton just can't get anywhere near them right now. Nathan Jones is surely, we've made one substitution. Musgrave's come into the action now. He'll give them a little bit of thrust at the top end of the pitch, but they just need to become a little bit more secure, because this is turning into a disaster for them in terms of the goal difference that is getting absolutely ruined by this Fulham side, who are just toiling with them right now.
Just the 103 goals in the Championship for Fulham this season, and still nearly half an hour to add even more to that tally. Fulham 4, Luton Town 0. Truly wonderful atmosphere. The fans once again providing the soundtrack here on TalkSport 2. And again, just emphasising how much they were missed during those COVID times, the soulless behind closed doors game. This is the way that you want to win a title, in front of your adoring public, and with a quite stellar display as far as Fulham are concerned. Here is Kenny Tete, the home side absolutely dominant. Tete into Carvalho, who's got room to turn on the edge of the penalty area. He's played it for the Deco Dover Reid, and And there is the fifth. Well, Sam Parkin said that we were only lacking a Bobby De Cordova-Reid goal. That wrong has just been righted. It's a 5-star performance from Fulham. Another cutting move from the Cottagers. And De Cordova-Reid with a right-footed finish into the corner makes it Fulham 5, Luton Town 0.
Yeah, it's that execution of the final pass which has just been absolutely magnificent from Fulham tonight. Coming in field off the right-hand side, I think it's Kearney, is it, with the last assist there. They move it from left to right. Bobby Reid actually starts the play. Kenny Tete, who's been fantastic in his second half, joining in from fullback, playing it out to Wilson, returning passes. And Carvalho, he's the one actually in the pocket of space, and it's through the eye of the needle. It really is. Lockyer and Burke, they just can't contain Bobby Reid's little bit of movement in between, and the tape is fantastic. Lovely little velvet touch in between the two of them, and then the finish, well, you know what the outcome's going to be, 7 or 8 yards out. Yeah, just flashes past Ingram. It doesn't stand a prayer.
Well, this is how you win a title. This is how you cement yourselves as the cream of the championship. Fulham going goal crazy on TalkSport 2, and Luton simply can't live with them. They're going to make changes as well. Luton, Robert Snodgrass, who's found it very difficult with his ageing legs to keep pace with the ferocious Fulham midfielders, made way. Jordan Clark, back from injury, is on, and I think there's been a change up front as well. Admiral Musgrave has come on, and I think it's Cameron Jerome who has been replaced. So a double alteration, Sam Parker, with the visitors who are, well, they're in big trouble here in terms of goal difference.
They are. I mean, Clark into the action. It's a good little ball actually, trying to pick out Danny Hilton, but yeah, it's been a desperate second half for him. It's been incredibly one-sided. I don't think I've witnessed anything like this really in the Championship. There are mitigating circumstances, I keep saying it. Luton probably came into this game a little bit hopeful, a little bit dejected. To lose 2 players so early on, one in the warm-up, means that this is an incredibly patched up Luton side, and they're going to have to dust themselves down and get ready for, you know, one of the biggest fixtures in the recent history of Luton Town at the weekend against Reading. Not everything is gone. Let's remember that by tonight. They do their business at the weekend. They're in the playoffs, but it's going to be a painful night here on in.
Well, I hope the local pubs have stocked enough beer for the post-match celebrations. These Fulham fans are not going to bed early tonight. They are drinking in every single second. Marco Silva replacing Scott Parker, tasked with leading Fulham back into the Premier League. He is doing that in sumptuous fashion. Stands, the Portuguese, arms folded. Never one to show too much positive emotion, but he'll be absolutely beaming with pride the way that Fulham has set about their business tonight. 69 played, Fulham 5, Luton 0. 5 different goal scorers as well, Sam.
Yeah, it's not to forget, is it? The supporting cast have been magnificent for Fulham this season. Harry Wilson's having an exceptional campaign. Bobby Reid chips in, and obviously Carvalho has been an absolute star in the second tier. So not all been about Mitrovic, of course, defensively as well. I think just Forest with a better defensive record now, so they've been pretty watertight as well throughout the campaign.
Coming forward, looking at goal number 6 here. Kearney out to the left-hand side, and Robinson. Mitrovic will want that record tonight of Guy Whittingham. I don't think he's had so much publicity since that 92-93 season, the former Portsmouth striker.
He must have thought, with all seriousness, that's never been beaten. That's never going to get beaten. He must have thought that. 42, incredible return. So that shows you that we're witnessing something special. You know, I do caveat it with this is Alexander Mitrovic, probably earning 5 times some of these Luton Town players, I would imagine, but you know, you still got to go out there and your attitude's got to be spot on, your finishing has got to be on point, and my goodness, there's been no let up throughout the season. So I'm a big admirer of his. Don't know why it hasn't worked out at Premier League level, because for someone who tried to play in a similar manner, got everything, absolutely everything.
What was your best ever goal tally over a season?
I've got 27 at Swindon.
They loved you there, didn't they?
It was a good 3 years, Alex, yeah, but, I would never have ever dreamed of being able to get anywhere near that number. I mean, his son player, Alexander Mitrovic, he's absolutely ambling around the pitch now, but still Luton can't contain him. His intelligence at dropping into the spaces and just playing one touch for Wilson and Carvalho to wreak havoc, that's been, another great part of his game tonight. So that maturity is even more evident when you're witnessing him in the flesh once more this evening.
Jean-Michel Seri is about to come on for what will probably be his farewell Craven Cottage appearance, out of contract in the summer. Didn't really work out for him in the Premier League. He's been in and out of the starting 11 this season. There was a lot of fanfare when he was recruited, but if it is to be his last act as a home player here at Craven Cottage, it is quite the situation to come into. Leading 5-0 and about to get his hands on the championship title. We will of course bring you that trophy lift live here on TalkSport 2. Anthony Robinson forward to Mitrovic, little back heel, deckled over Reed, could be 6, good save by Ingram at the near post, clawing the ball away and denying Deckled over Reed his second.
Yeah, he's a bit of an unsung hero for me, Deckled over Reed. Intelligent movement off the shoulder of the Luton defender. Once more Mitrovic finds him with a sumptuous outside of the boot through ball. Difficult angle, difficult technique when the ball's skipping off the surface there, but he controls it well, and Ingram forced into action, and a brilliant save. Brilliant save. He can't have done much about any of the goals, but that was a top quality stop.
Those clackers like a herd of stampeding elephants, making a real racket inside Craven Cottage as Harrison Reed makes way for Jean-Michel Seri. Seri with that bleached blonde hair, a nod of appreciation to the man he is replacing. You talk about unsung heroes, what a season Harrison Reed has had. Doesn't get the headlines, hasn't scored for 111 games, but such a vital cog for Marco Silva.
Yeah, he's been terrific since he walked in here at Fulham. Outstanding ball-winning ability. He allows other players to go and get on with being the creators and the goal scorers for midfield. Seri can't quite do that job at times this season. Marco Silva's enjoyed having a slightly deeper playmaking midfielder, which Seri of course can do. Different types of players, but I think both contributed this season.
Here he is, Seri, straight away involved, plays the ball out to the right hand side. Carvalho to the overlapping Tete, got a bit excitable Tete, and swings a right foot at the cross and slices it behind for a goal kick. The boos you can hear are because the Fulham fans are just being reminded not to invade the pitch at full time. Good luck.
He's gone early with that 72, hasn't he?
Well, I think the points are probably safe, Sam.
No, I more mean, they're going to come on, aren't they? They're going to come on.
I'll tell you what though, those electric advertising hoardings are quite high. Not sure I'd fancy herding those.
Good point.
We shall see if the fans do listen to that plea. As Harry Wilson has a bit of a coming together there with Potts. Free kick for Luton, which is taken quickly. And here is Jordan Clark down the left-hand side. Wilson has stayed down rather alarmingly. And Fulham, I think, when they realise that, will put the ball out of play. Robinson does so, and Wilson will receive some treatment and immediately sits back. It looks like he'll be okay. He wasn't happy with the challenge. The free kick actually went against Wilson, Sam.
Yeah, just a couple of comings together, wasn't it? Harry Wilson down on the deck right now. He's done another brilliant evening though. He's shown great maturity, I think, this year, and obviously got the numbers in terms of the goals and the assists. I think he's someone that the jury's probably out on a little bit in the Premier League. I don't think the Bournemouth fans were particularly enamoured by him.
He was getting booed there when Fulham went there the other week.
Yeah, I think towards the end of his tenure it went a little bit, his time there went a little bit stale. So be interested to see how he gets on, because I don't think he's done it consistently at a top level. I think he's maybe one of those players that he could become an outstanding championship player and maybe not quite consistent enough for the Premier League. I hope it doesn't happen, because he's got incredible ability, and I think that awareness along with the goal scoring ability has been very evident this evening and throughout the campaign.
Well, that's going to be a question mark, isn't it, about a lot of these Fulham players. And actually I was speaking to an executive at one of the other top clubs in the Championship, and they were suggesting that whoever goes up into the Premier League this season is going to find it a real struggle to bridge that gap between the Championship and the Premier League. And I guess when you look at Fulham and Norwich, an even better example, and the way they've gone up one year and been relegated the next, that just highlights the increasing gap.
It's incredibly difficult to predict, to read what Fulham are going to do. Obviously they have to learn from the mistakes of yesteryear. Too many signings that, the previous promotion, the last promotion, too many loanees on big wages, which has left them with a problem in the subsequent Championship season. So it has to be a balance. What they've got this year, I think they've got a more strategic plan in place with the recruiters, Tony Khan and Alistair McIntosh, data driven, and also they've got the time. They've got the additional time which they didn't have in the previous season. So this campaign they can take stock. I'm sure they'd have been taking stock the last months. If they haven't been, then that's negligent. They probably could have started planning for the Premier League 3 or 4 months ago and getting the targets watched and potentially getting the fees and the loan agreements sorted. So I'm hopeful they can make a better fist of it next time around.
Mitrovic is going to shoot from miles, looking for that record-breaking goal straight down the throat of Ingram. I don't think Marco Silva will be allowed to take off Mitrovic tonight, do you?
No, he'll be hungry, won't he? He's not moving brilliantly, actually. He's kind of staggering around the pitch. Probably realises that he doesn't have to maybe cover every blade of grass. He can stay a bit more central, be that link, and hopefully add to his tally. But he's had another good evening, there's no doubt in that, and be a great manager to take him off. I think Niskin Cabano may be the next one off the rank.
I'll tell you what, I don't think that'll be the last middle-aged man in a white Fulham shirt you see staggering in these parts this evening. It's going to be quite the night of celebration, isn't it? You're listening to Fulham against Luton Town in the EFL Championship, live on TalkSport 2 with McDonald's Fun Football. Search McDonald's Fun Football to find out more. How difficult will it be, Sam Parkin, for Nathan Jones to pick up these Luton players and go again in that vital home game against Reading at the weekend?
I don't think too difficult, to be honest, Crookie. I think they've done it time and time again this season, been knocked. They did it after that QPR last minute defeat. They did it after Huddersfield. Everyone, I think even within the club, not the staff but the supporters, I think it almost felt that was the moment when this challenge was going to slide. They weren't having any of it. They responded to both of those defeats with back-to-back victories. They haven't had back-to-back defeats, I don't think, too often this season. So I don't think it'll be a problem. You look at the next fixture in isolation, you say, do you know what, lads? This is an incredible campaign. We've still got an unbelievable opportunity of getting in the Championship playoffs. Who would have thought it? So listen, I think whatever team that he puts out there at Kenilworth Road will be a very different atmosphere for one to what they've experienced tonight, which is tough, coming against the best players in the division. Very well supported tonight. The fans are very vocal at Kenilworth Road. They'll have that, but they'll have that on their side. Very, very different.
Lovely ovation for Fabio Carvalho as he takes his leave, replaced by Niskins Cabano. And here come Fulham with Robinson. Look at Mitrovic turning inside the area, gets his shot away. Heroic block by Lockyer. The ball still bouncing around inside that Luton 18-yard box. They've only got it clear as far as Seri. He shoots from distance and he's gone! John Mikel Seri, the latest to get in on the goal-scoring act. It's his first Fulham goal since August of 2018. A right-footed shot from 25 yards out, but squeezed past Ingram at the near post to make it Fulham 6, Luton Town 0.
Well, undoubtedly the goalkeeper's not got the best view of that. There's plenty of Luton bodies saturating the middle of the pitch, but I'm going to be critical about one of the goals that's beaten him. It's got to be that one. It's just crawled into the corner. It's kissed the left-hand post on its way into the net, but I think Matt Ingram's got to save it. Once again, Mitrovic in the build-up. He had a snapshot, well blocked by a Luton Town defender, but they can't clear their lines, Luton. They can't get up the pitch. They haven't got anyone who's able to get hold of it. Seri lets one fly. It's found the corner, but goalkeeper maybe got to save it, and it's 6.
And probably the goal that's been more wildly celebrated than the other 5. He raced Seri straight away, jumped into the arms almost of his manager Marco Silva, And like Carvalho before him, that could well be his last act in a Fulham shirt. I mean, if you'd written this script, Sam, as a Fulham supporter, it's just about been perfection.
Yeah, it was always a chance this was liable to happen, you know, especially with the misfortune Luton were handed, but after a patchy first half an hour, they've really turned it on, Fulham. You have to say, in the desire, the application, the quality that they've shown has been first class, and that comes from, you know, it comes from the manager, but it also comes from the individual players' standards, and none of them have dropped off. It'd be understandable, wouldn't it, for Alexander Mitrovic to have gone through the motion the last few weeks. To the contrary, he's been as motivated, as physical as he's been throughout the campaign, so all credit to them.
Kenny Tete in the right back position for Fulham. You're listening to Talk Sport 2. On a glory night for Fulham at Craven Cottage under the floodlights. They lead Luton, the champions. I think we can call them that now with a fair degree of certainty, by 6 goals to nil. 9 minutes still to play. They've won 7-0 twice already this season. We want 7 is the cry. They might get 8 in these last 10 minutes, Fulham. And Luton fans don't even look at the table now in terms of goal difference, because that advantage they had over the chasing pack has been swept away, certainly in terms of Middlesbrough anyway. On a devastatingly difficult night for Nathan Jones' side. And here's Kearney out to the right and Wilson. Even with a fully fit 11, it would have been a difficult task, Sam, but with the injuries, the absentees, it's been mission impossible, hasn't it, for Luton?
It really has. I mean,
here come Fulham again. Decordova returning in the area. Ball stolen away from him. Couple of flick-ups by Kearney on the edge of the area. Rolls it out to Tete. Crosses towards Mitrovic. Fulham fans want a penalty. Referee says no.
Yeah, not sure about that from Tom Kearney, to be honest.
Didn't like it.
No, not sure about that. Couple of little kick-ups and played it square.
Showboating?
Yeah, a little bit. And then the ball goes in the box. Mitrovic is having a wrestling match with 2 Luton defenders. That's what I want to see. That type of desire, you know, play the game properly. Tom Kearney just taking the Michael somewhat.
I wonder if at 0-0, the referee Tim Robinson may have had a closer look at that penalty shout. At 6-0, you have to be absolutely certain of points to spot and rub salt in the Luton wounds. 7 minutes to go here on Talk Sport 2. Alex Crook and Sam Parkin, your commentary team. Here's Amari Bell for Luton over the halfway line. They've hardly had a kick in this second half. Fulham 2-0 up at half time and have really rammed home their authority in the second half. Harry Wilson's picked up a yellow card for a late challenge on Musquay. First Fulham booking of the evening. Don't think it will trouble Wilson too much. And his former club Bournemouth have a massive game live on TalkSport 2 tomorrow, remember, at home to Nottingham Forest, second against third, victory for the Cherries, and they will be joining Fulham in the Premier League next season. If Forest win, they'll be in the box seat come the final day. Here comes the Luton free kick. Can they give their travelling fans something to cheer about? Lansbury puts it too close to the goalkeeper, and it's punched clear by Marek Rodak, who is 7 minutes away from his 16th clean sheet of the season. Here's Seri in the lime green boots, dispossessed, but one back by Decordova, and then Seri plays it forward to Robinson. Kearney helps it on. Oh, they're 3-on-1 here, Fulham. The late challenge on Kearney, but advantage played. Here's Cabano, tried to switch from right foot to left, and that allows Naismith to make the block. You weren't happy, Sam, with that challenge on Kearney in the centre circle.
Well, no, he's walking a tightrope, Lansbury, but that was his opportunity, given what Tom Kearney had done a few moments ago. I knew it would come. You know, the Luton players
retribution
wouldn't have been happy about that, but Lansbury probably not the best person to go in late to a challenge, considering he's already been booked and he'd be desperately needed for the next fixture against Reading. But yeah, Tom Kearney definitely on the deck there after that, coming together.
The unwritten rule, isn't it? You don't showboat no matter what the circumstances, or you might find yourself on the end of a challenge as agricultural as that one. Fulham 6, Luton 0 here on TalkSport 2. Kearney again has been caught, and this time it will be a yellow card. to Musgrave.
But I'll tell you what, there doesn't look to be, anything untoward going on the two benches. But the Luton staff won't be happy with that. Tom Kearney again's rolled his studs on the ball there. Musgrave's taken him out on that occasion. I can't exactly.
It has to be a yellow card, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a poor challenge. It's a yellow card, but again, Tom Kearney can move the ball quicker. He's taking the mickey out of the lads, and they don't like it, rightly so.
I think they have now gone over the threshold, Luton, where they'll get themselves a Football Association fine as a result of too many yellow cards accumulated in one game. You're right, not really a reaction from the two benches. And they're taking off Tom Kearney, probably to save him from himself here, Fulham.
Yeah, there's a bit of coming together now in the middle of the pitch. A few of the lads are in something to say, and completely unnecessary. They've been the most outstanding side, and I think Tom Kearney's a brilliant professional, seems to be a great leader, but yeah, not for me the last couple of minutes.
And Tom Kearney applauding all three sides of Craven Cottage that have got home supporters in, and he is being replaced by the Brazilian who turns 21 on Wednesday, Rodrigo Muniz. Kearney, one of the 6 Fulham goal scorers. And still there's a bit of a conflab going on between the referee Tim Robinson and Tom Lockyer, the Luton defender, and still words being exchanged between the two sets of players as well. And it would be disappointing if a night was to end on a sour note, Sam. But Tom Kearney certainly not helping his own cause, as you say.
No, a couple of poor challenges, no getting away from that, but I don't think Tom Kearney probably helped himself there. All professionals, there's no rules if you want to do that, and you're not going to get penalised, are you? But I just think there's a bit of a code. Luton have been dealt a tough hand tonight, and they've had a phenomenal season. They shouldn't be, I suppose, disrespected a little bit the way they have been the last few minutes.
Well, the champagne is about to be popped here at Craven Cottage. Fulham leading by 6 goals to 0. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to play. I guess the only question now is, can they get a 7th before full time? At the moment the game is almost being played at a testimonial pace. Here is Seri though, inside the centre circle. Sy puts the ball out to Robinson down the left. Robinson thought about playing it on to Cabano, does so belatedly. Cabano back to the former Wigan man Robinson. Now here's Harry Wilson. Hasn't got the goal that his play deserves, but he has been right in the thick of all of Fulham's good attacking moves as the home fans shout, "We want 7 again." Mitrovic playing it back into midfield, and Seri tossing forward. And now here is Kenny Tete, his 25-yarder, giving Fulham an unassailable 2-0 lead just before half-time. There's no way back really for Luton, given their lengthy absentee list. Here's Robinson crossing into the area. Muniz rises and heads it wide.
He'll want to get on the act. He's actually been, a decent deputy, I think, for Mitrovic on the few occasions that he's been able to take to the field. Early part of the season, got himself a few goals. Not always worked when they've been paired as a front two, when they've been chasing games on the odd occasion, trying to claw back points, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with him next year. Certainly someone who's not going to get a great deal of game time, maybe a loan when they go up to the Premier League, considering his age would be the best course of action to get some minutes. Looks like a good find though.
I mean, defensively Luton have struggled tonight, but in terms of scoring goals as well, Sam, they've only scored 4 now in their last 6 games. They've dried up at just the wrong time of the season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was just prior to the Seri goal going in, the Cornick omission tonight has to be an injury, I think, for me. Especially that he's not been used off the bench, or he's struggling with something. Musgrave wouldn't have been on in front of him, I wouldn't have said, unless he was carrying something. And invariably, if you can get Adebayo and Cornick on the pitch together, obviously that's the way it'll go. Or certainly one of them, he probably would have fielded Cornick. So surprised at that. but again, it's the bigger picture when you get to this stage of the season, isn't it? And Nathan Jones will have his reasons, and I'm sure we'll see a much stronger Luton Town out there on Saturday.
I'll tell you what, these Fulham Luton players are certainly testing the referee's patience. That's another challenge from behind by Dan Potts, who's already been yellow carded, conceding a foul. Again, I think if it wasn't 6-0, he might have gone to his pocket for a second time there and dismissed Dan Potts. Free kick for Fulham in the last 20 seconds of the 90 here at Craven Cottage. Seri and Wilson stand over the ball. Mitrovic desperate for that chance to make himself a record breaker. If he doesn't get it tonight, I fear for Sheffield United at the weekend. Seri's gone for goal, spotted the keeper off his line and curls it wide right-footed.
Clever, wasn't it? Got loads of pace on the strike, great power with the side foot, but his angle's just a little bit off, just couldn't quite get the direction, but really good quick thinking.
We are into 3 added minutes at the end of the game. A big sign appears on the television screens at either end of the ground. Please do not, in bright red letters, do not enter the pitch at full time. There's another cry of Champions goes up around Craven Cottage. And I hope that roof on the Riverside stand that's still being built over on the far side is firmly in place, because these Fulham supporters are about to lift it off its hinges when the full-time whistle is blown. They have had a fantastic night, Sam Parkin.
They have, I mean, they've turned up, expecting, hoping that they would romp to victory, but probably with that seed of doubt in their mind that this game, again, was probably a little bit more important for the visitors, as a few of their recent fixtures have proved. So they would have hoped, and they have delivered.
Challenge inside the penalty area. Declan Dover-Reid going in with Lansbury, as we welcome once more listeners from Talk Sport. We're into the second of 3 added minutes at the end of the game. Fulham leading by 6-0. 6 different scorers. Mitrovic in on the act again in this second half. They've been absolutely rampant, Fulham, and they are clinching the title, Sam Parkin, in style.
Yeah, remarkable to think that for half an hour it was a pretty even game. Luton caused 1 or 2 problems, but since that opening goal for Tom Cairney...
Harry Wilson into the area, Mitrovic to seal it, gets to 7. Alexander Mitrovic is a record breaker. Fulham have 7, and Mitrovic has 43 league goals. A new second-tier record. He leaps the Serbian into the crowd, tears off his shirt, points to the heavens. It's a magic moment on a magic night at the end of a truly memorable season. Fulham 7, Luton Town 0.
What a finish again from the main man. What a season he's had, and tonight again, the attitude of the man to keep going, the hunger and the finishing prowess has just been exemplary. Harry Wilson, the architect, once more, beautiful slips in pass, left-footed. Mitrovic takes it on and then finds the far corner with ridiculous power, precision once more. What a night for these Fulham fans.
He gets a yellow card for taking his shirt off, Mitrovic. Over wager, he does not care at all as the Fulham fans sing his name. He lifts both arms in the sky. What a moment to crown the new Championship champions. I tell you what, it's a brilliant finish.
Yeah, his 2 finishes tonight. The first one was a little bit more simple in its execution. That one moving at speed, moving away from goal almost, wrapping his left foot around it, and as I said, finding the side net and beyond that Ingram once more. Wonderful stuff.
The full-time whistle goes. Fulham in 7th heaven as they are crowned the Sky Bet Championship winners of 2022. Marco Silva's Maestros, imperious in the second tier. A year after relegation from the Premier League, the fans have ignored the pleas. They flood onto the pitch. Their heroes in white have sealed the title in sensational style. Record smashed. More than a century of league goals for the first time since they last won this trophy some 21 years ago. And Alexander Mitrovic in stoppage time, and some of the Fulham players are carried off the pitch on the shoulders of their celebrating supporters, becomes the first man to score 43 goals in the second tier. It finishes at a jubilant, ecstatic Craven Cottage. Champions Fulham 7, Luton Town 0.